Have you ever felt the quiet panic of unlived lives? It's that specific nagging feeling that there just isn't enough time for all the versions of yourself you want to explore. You can see the evidence of this feeling all around you. Just look at the code editor still open on your laptop for that app you were definitely going to build. Think about the Spanish textbook on your nightstand, sitting there with a bookmark optimistically placed on Chapter 2. Or maybe it's the half-used watercolor set collecting dust in a drawer, a relic from a weekend of intense artistic passion. Each one of these isn't just an object, it's a ghost of a potential life. You feel like you're being haunted by your own potential. With every new spark of curiosity, a familiar voice of self-doubt returns. Here we go again, another fleeting obsession. It asks you why you can't just pick one thing and stick with it. It makes you wonder if you're doomed to be a jack of all trades, master of none. This feeling of being scattered, of being a failure for not specializing, is a heavy weight to carry in a world that lionizes the expert. But what if that entire feeling is based on a false premise? What if this tendency isn't a character flaw, but a cognitive engine? Your mind isn't scattered, it's synoptic. You don't have a focus problem. You have what I call a synoptic mind. A synoptic mind is a brain naturally wired to see the big picture, to find connections, and to synthesize information across different fields. That collection of abandoned projects isn't a testament to your failure. It's the diverse library of data points your mind needs to do its best work. If you've ever felt like an outsider in a world that demands hyper-specialization, then this video is for you. We are going to dismantle that tired old narrative of the master of none. I'm going to show you exactly what a synoptic mind is and why it's a secret superpower in the 21st century. We'll explore a modern case study that proves its power and differentiate it from things it often gets confused with. And most importantly, by the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit of 3 unique techniques to turn it into your greatest strength. You are not a collector of random hobbies. You are a synthesizer of worlds, and it's time you learned how to use your power. To understand the synoptic mind, let's first break down the word itself. Synoptic comes from the word synopsis, which literally means to see all points together. This is the fundamental operating system of your brain, not to isolate, but to integrate. The world we live in is obsessed with the opposite model, the specialist. To make this clear, let's use a new metaphor. Imagine knowledge is a vast, unexplored ocean. The specialist is a deep-sea diver. They pick one deep-sea trench, a single subject like marine biology or quantum physics, and they dedicate their entire life to going deeper. They descend into the darkness, discovering new creatures and phenomena that no one has ever seen. Their value is immense, and their contribution to human knowledge is profound. Society celebrates and rewards this dedication for very good reasons. The synoptic mind, however, operates on a completely different axis. You are not the deep-sea diver, you are the oceanographer. You aren't obsessed with just one trench. You are fascinated by the entire system. You study the currents that flow between the trenches. You analyze how the water temperature in one region affects the weather patterns thousands of miles away. Your value isn't in depth, but in context, in seeing the connections that the diver deep in their trench will always miss. Specialists explore one trench. The synoptic mind charts the currents that connect them all. Let's use another analogy to solidify this. A specialist is a master artisan who forges one perfect, specific key. They can create a key that opens one incredibly complex lock better than anyone else in the world. A synoptic mind is a master locksmith. You may not be able to forge that one specific key from memory, but you understand the underlying principles of how all locks work. You can walk up to a brand new, unfamiliar lock, and by drawing on your knowledge of hundreds of different lock types, you can figure out how to open it. Your power isn't in specialization, it's in transference and synthesis. This is the essence of true paradigm-shifting innovation. Creativity research consistently shows that major breakthroughs rarely come from a single field. They happen at the intersections where different ideas collide. Your brain is a natural habitat for these collisions. So, to see what this looks like in the real world, we only need to look at one of the most compelling creative forces of our time, Donald Glover. On the surface, Glover's career looks like a perfect example of what people accuse synoptic minds of being: scattered. He's a writer for the acclaimed comedy show 30 Rock. He's a stand-up comedian with multiple specials. He's an actor known for his role in the sitcom Community. He's a Grammy-winning musician and producer under the name Childish Gambino. And he's the creator, writer, and director of the groundbreaking television show Atlanta. A specialist looks at this list and sees 5 different careers. A synoptic mind looks at this list and sees one interconnected knowledge ecosystem. These weren't separate paths. They were threads he was collecting to weave something entirely new. Consider the show Atlanta. It's often described as a comedy, but it frequently breaks into surreal horror, sharp social commentary, and deep drama. Where does that come from? The comedic timing he mastered as a stand-up allows the jokes to land with precision. His experience in a network TV writer's room for 30 Rock taught him about structure and pacing, but it also taught him what rules he wanted to break. His musicality as Childish Gambino deeply informs the show's iconic soundtrack and rhythm. The music isn't just background noise in Atlanta, it's a character in itself. His skill as a director allows him to translate these disparate feelings into a coherent visual language. Atlanta could not have been made by a specialist in any single one of those fields. It required someone who had lived at the intersection of all of them. Now let's look at his song and video, This Is America. It's a musical track, a piece of performance art, a political statement, and a masterclass in filmmaking all at once. The catchy, joyful beat clashes intentionally with the shocking, violent imagery. His understanding of internet culture, learned through years of being a digital native, made it an instant viral phenomenon. His comedic and acting background allowed him to use his body and facial expressions to tell a story non-verbally. Donald Glover's genius is not that he is a great writer or a great musician or a great actor. His genius is that he is all of these things simultaneously, and he has mastered the art of connecting them. He is the ultimate oceanographer, charting the currents between entertainment, art, and social justice. This is the blueprint for the synoptic mind in action. If you're starting to see yourself in this description, if the idea of a synoptic mind feels like coming home, then you've found your tribe. Go ahead and subscribe to join a community of synthesizers and connectors who see the world the same way you do. Now, it's natural to be hearing this and wonder about a very common question. Is this synoptic mind just a fancy, positive-sounding term for ADHD? It's a crucial question to ask because the surface-level behaviors can look strikingly similar.
A history of intense but short-lived interests?
Exactly. A tendency to have multiple projects going at once? Also, check. A brain that seems to jump between topics in a non-linear way? Absolutely. The confusion is understandable, but the core distinction often comes down to the underlying driver, the why behind the what. ADHD is a neurodevelopmental condition that primarily involves challenges with executive functions, particularly the regulation of attention. For someone with ADHD, the shift in focus can feel involuntary, like their attention is being pulled away by distractions against their will. This can create significant struggles in completing necessary but non-stimulating tasks, and the core challenge is often a deficit in the ability to direct focus. The synoptic mind, on the other hand, is typically driven by an abundance of intention-driven curiosity. The shift in focus is often a conscious choice, a proactive pull towards a new, compelling connection rather than a reactive loss of attention. Think of it this way. Being pulled away from a report by a notification on your phone might be a distraction. But pausing that report because you realized a concept from a history podcast you heard could solve a strategic problem in a novel way is synthesis. Of course, it's crucial to state that these are not mutually exclusive. You can absolutely be a synoptic mind who also has ADHD. Many people with ADHD are incredible synthesizers because their brains are wired for novel connections. The goal here isn't to diagnose, but to offer a new, empowering lens for your curiosity. However, embracing this identity doesn't erase all the challenges. This brings us to what I call the synthesist's dilemma. This is the very real pain of having a sea of incredible ideas, but struggling to turn them into a tangible boat. You see 100 possible connections, which can lead to a paralyzing inability to choose just one to act on. It's the pressure of knowing you have the ingredients for a masterpiece, but feeling overwhelmed by the infinite possible recipes. This can lead to procrastination, self-doubt, and the very real fear that your potential will remain just that. Potential. Acknowledging this dilemma is the first step to solving it. But the solution isn't to force yourself into a specialist box. It's to learn the art of intentional synthesis, which we'll get to in a moment. Because right now, the world needs your specific brand of genius more than ever before. For generations, we were told to specialize because the industrial and information ages rewarded it. But the world is changing, and it's changing in your favor. We are entering what some call the age of integration, and the skills that made synoptic minds feel like outsiders are now becoming their greatest assets. Let's start with the elephant in the room, artificial intelligence. Many people fear AI will replace human jobs, and for pure specialists, this is a legitimate concern. AI is exceptionally good at being a deep-sea diver. It can analyze massive data sets within a single domain, going deeper and faster than any human ever could. But what AI struggles with is context, wisdom, and making creative leaps across disparate domains. AI can be the world's best geologist, but it can't be the person who connects geology, art history, and supply chain logistics to invent a new sustainable building material. That requires a human touch. It requires an oceanographer. As AI commoditizes deep knowledge, the most valuable human skill becomes synthesis. In the age of AI, specialization is a commodity, Synthesis is the new superpower. In an age of infinite answers, the person who asks the most interesting questions becomes the most valuable. And interesting questions almost always live at the intersection of different fields. Furthermore, synoptic minds are uniquely built to solve the most important problems we face. The world's biggest challenges, like climate change, urban planning, or misinformation, are not narrow problems. They are wicked problems, deeply interconnected systems that can't be solved from a single perspective. You can't tackle climate change from just a scientific perspective without understanding economics, human psychology, and politics. Solving these problems requires people who can think across systems, who can synthesize the science, the data, and the human story. Your seemingly messy path of learning hasn't been a detour, it's been your training. Your life isn't a random collection of interests, it's a convergence of capabilities. Knowing this intellectually is one thing, embodying it is another. All right, enough theory. Let's make this real and get practical. I'm going to give you 3 unique, actionable tools to help you solve the synthesist's dilemma and start harnessing your synoptic mind today. Tool number 1 is the Concept Crucible. This is a simple weekly exercise designed to force creative synthesis. Once a week, take 2 of your most unrelated interests and put them in the crucible. Then you ask a simple question: what can X teach me about Y? For example, what can the principles of marine biology teach you about social media growth? Maybe you realize that symbiotic relationships between species are a model for creator collaborations, or that niche adaptation in coral reefs is a metaphor for finding a content niche. This exercise trains your brain to actively look for connections where none seem to exist. Tool number 2 is the Knowledge Ecosystem Map. Stop thinking of your skills as a list on a resume and start seeing them as an interconnected system. Get a large piece of paper or use a mind mapping app. Write down your core skills and interests as nodes, then physically draw lines connecting them. Label each line with how one skill supports another. For example, a line between public speaking and video editing could be labeled Improves Storytelling Pace. This visual map transforms your scattered skills into a powerful, mutually supportive ecosystem and helps you see your true, holistic value. Finally, tool number 3 is Project Polymathy. Instead of starting projects that fit into one box, intentionally design projects that require you to use 3 or more of your seemingly unrelated skills. Want to get better at writing, photography, and cooking? Don't practice them separately. Start a food blog that requires all 3. This approach turns your diverse interests from a source of distraction into the very engine of your productivity and output. It builds your synthesis muscle and creates unique work that only you could produce. If there's one idea to take away from this video, let it be this. Your mind isn't scattered, it's building a web. Your career path isn't chaotic, it's convergent. You've been trying to follow a specialist's blueprint with a synthesizer's soul, and it's time to stop apologizing for that. Remember that feeling from the beginning of being haunted by your own potential? I want you to see it differently now. You aren't being haunted by potential, you're navigating a rich ecosystem of ideas that you planted yourself. That graveyard of hobbies you feel guilty about? It's not a graveyard. It's the seed bank for your greatest innovations. But knowing your value and communicating it are 2 different things. So here's a bonus piece of practical advice. Let's talk about translating your value to a world that prizes specialization. When someone asks about your messy resume, you need a script.
Instead of saying, "You're a job hopper," try saying this: "I've intentionally built a portfolio career that gives me cross-functional expertise in A, B, and C, which allows me to solve problems in a way a specialist can't." When your family asks when you'll finally settle down on one thing, you can say this: "My passion isn't for one single topic, but for learning and connecting ideas. That's the skill I'm mastering."
You're not a jack of all trades, master of none.
You are a master of connection.
If this video finally gave you a name for the way your mind works, please subscribe to the channel. You'll be joining a growing community of synoptic minds who are changing the world by connecting it.
And now, I want to hear from you. We want to build a library of fascinating connections right here in the comments. Tell us 2 of your most unrelated interests and one surprising thing that connects them.
Thank you for watching.
Now go connect some dots.